Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you tonight that life was never designed to trap you in your present circumstances. Your current situation is not your destination. You may be surrounded by limitations, setbacks, and disappointments right now, but those are not the final chapters of your story. They are simply the raw materials out of which your destiny will be built. Every one of us has been given something greater than where we are. Your future is not ahead of you by chance. It is hidden within you by purpose. And until you decide to rise above the conditions of today, you will never walk into the possibilities of tomorrow. Your environment, your struggles, your pain, your failures, they are all temporary. But the future, your God-given future, is eternal, powerful, and waiting for your response. The tragedy of life is not that people die, but that they live without ever discovering what they could have become. Don't allow where you are to blind you to where you are supposed to go. The eagle does not stay on the ground with the chickens. It spreads its wings and rises above the storm. Likewise, you must refuse to be defined by the limitations of your current reality and choose to focus on the greater vision that lies ahead. So tonight, I challenge you, lift your eyes above the problems, above the pain, above the limitations, and fix your focus on your future. Because where you are is not who you are, and who you are is greater than anything you are going through right now. Your present condition is not your permanent position. This is one of the most powerful truths you can ever embrace, because life has a way of making people believe that where they are now is where they will always remain. Many people confuse their temporary season with their eternal destiny. They think that because they are in pain today, their whole life will be defined by pain. They think because they are broke today, they will always be broke. They think because they failed once, they will always be failures. But the truth is that your condition today is not the final definition of your life. It is a snapshot, not the full movie. It is a chapter, not the whole book. It is an event, not the conclusion. And until you understand this, you will never rise above your limitations. The reason this is so important is because many people surrender to their environment. They surrender to their challenges, and they make peace with their struggles. They stop fighting, they stop dreaming, they stop believing because they think nothing will ever change. But the reality is, life is constantly in motion. Seasons change. Circumstances shift. What looks like a wall today can be an open door tomorrow. What feels like a prison can be the very place that trains you for freedom. Every successful person you admire has had a season where their present condition looked hopeless, but they refused to accept it as permanent. They understood that storms do not last forever. They understood that every night is followed by morning. They understood that purpose has the power to outlast pain. When you realize that your present condition is not permanent, you also release yourself from the burden of hopelessness. Hopelessness is heavy. It is what makes people give up before their breakthrough comes. But when you embrace the truth that change is inevitable, you develop resilience. You keep moving even when nothing around you looks different. You keep sowing seeds even when the soil looks dry. You keep speaking words of faith even when the evidence is against you. Because you know the condition is temporary, you do not allow it to define your character or your destiny. Think about Joseph in the Bible. His present condition was a pit, then slavery, then prison. But none of those were his permanent position. His true destiny was the palace. What would have happened if Joseph had believed the pit was his destiny? What would have happened if he thought slavery was his permanent life? He would have died hopeless, never stepping into the position God had prepared for him. The difference was his perspective. He held on to the dream he had seen, the vision of the future. That vision carried him through every condition until his position matched his promise. The same is true for you. You might be struggling with finances today, but that doesn't mean you are destined for poverty. You might be in a broken relationship today, but that doesn't mean love and joy are denied to you forever. You might be in a place where no one sees your worth today, but that doesn't mean your gift will never make room for you. Where you are now is a training ground, not a tomb. It is preparation, not punishment. You have to stop confusing what is temporary with what is eternal. The greatest tragedy is not to go through tough seasons. The tragedy is to allow those seasons to redefine your identity. You are not your condition. You are not your failure. You are not your struggle. You are not your bank account. You are not your mistakes. You are greater than what you see around you. That is why you must be careful with the words you speak to yourself in difficult times. When you tell yourself, "This is my life forever," you are lying to yourself. When you declare, "I will never change," you are limiting the power of your own future. You must speak words that align with destiny, not despair. Declare to yourself, "This is not my permanent place. I am passing through. Better is ahead of me." Every condition in your life is subject to change, but change begins when you refuse to settle. The eagle never learns to soar if it accepts the nest as its permanent position. A seed never becomes a tree if it believes the soil is its final destination. You must decide in your heart that where you are is not where you will end. Lift your eyes above your condition. See beyond your struggle. Begin to live as if your future is already real. This is how you break free from the prison of your present and step into the promise of your future. So I urge you today, don't let the weight of today convince you that tomorrow will not be brighter. Your life is more than this season. Your destiny is greater than your difficulty. Your current situation is not your permanent position. You are moving forward, rising higher, and stepping into the purpose that was designed for you before you even faced these conditions. Stand tall, keep believing, and keep pressing forward, because where you are right now is only temporary. Your future is calling you, and it is far greater than your present. Purpose is always greater than problems. This truth has the power to change how you see every challenge in your life. Problems have a way of magnifying themselves, making you feel like they are bigger than anything else. They dominate your thoughts, they steal your peace, and they try to convince you that you are trapped with no way forward. But problems are never greater than purpose. The reason you are alive is because you were born with a purpose, and that purpose existed long before the problems showed up. In fact, the presence of problems is often the very evidence that you have a significant purpose, because problems always try to stand in the way of destiny. When you understand the supremacy of purpose over problems, you no longer allow difficulties to define the meaning of your life. You realize that problems are temporary interruptions, but purpose is eternal. Problems may slow you down, but they cannot cancel who you were created to be. They may bend you, but they cannot break what God has built into you. A person with no sense of purpose will always be overwhelmed by problems, but a person with vision sees problems as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. Purpose gives you perspective. It allows you to say, yes, this is tough. Yes, I am hurting. Yes, the mountain looks high, but my life is bigger than this moment. I was made for something more. Think about David when he faced Goliath. The problem was huge, terrifying, and seemed unbeatable. Everyone else in Israel saw Goliath as a giant too big to defeat, but David saw him as a giant too big to miss. Why? Because David had purpose. He knew his role was not just to fight for himself, but to represent a nation, to defend the honor of God, and to step into the destiny he had been anointed for. His purpose gave him the courage to face the problem. And the very problem that scared everyone else became the platform that introduced David to his destiny as king. This is what happens when you recognize that purpose is greater than problems. What others run from becomes the opportunity you rise through. Every problem in your life is temporary, But purpose is permanent. You may lose a job, but your purpose does not leave with it. You may lose friends, but your purpose is not tied to their presence. You may even lose strength for a season, but your purpose is still intact, waiting for you to rise again. Problems only last for a time, but purpose lasts for a lifetime and beyond. When you discover your purpose, you discover the reason to endure, to keep pushing, and to overcome whatever comes your way. Many people make the mistake of magnifying their problems and minimizing their purpose. They say, my debt is too great, my pain is too heavy, my obstacles are too high. But when you magnify problems, you shrink your own belief in what you were born for. The truth is the reverse. Your purpose is too great for problems to hold you down. You were not created to be defined by what you go through. You were created to reveal the strength, wisdom, and creativity inside of you by overcoming what you face. Purpose transforms problems into teachers. Every challenge becomes a classroom, every setback becomes training, and every obstacle becomes a test that prepares you for promotion. Consider the story of Nelson Mandela. His problem was 27 years of imprisonment, isolation, and injustice. To many, that kind of suffering would look like the end of a life's journey. But Mandela's purpose was greater than his prison. He refused to let the problem redefine who he was. Instead, he used that season to refine his vision, to strengthen his resolve, and to prepare for the leadership role he would one day step into. The same prison that tried to destroy him became the womb that birthed the leader who would change a nation. That is the power of living with the understanding that purpose is always greater than problems. You have to train your mind to ask, whenever a problem arises, what is the purpose behind this? What is this problem trying to prepare me for? Because purpose never wastes problems. Every single difficulty you face is shaping you, stretching you, and strengthening you for a greater assignment. That is why giving up is such a tragedy. When you give up because of a problem, you stop just before discovering the power of your purpose. So no matter what you are facing right now, I want you to remember that your life has meaning that goes beyond your present difficulty. You may feel like the pressure is unbearable, but purpose can handle the weight. You may feel like the storm is never ending, but purpose shines like a lighthouse guiding you through. Problems only appear large when you lose sight of your purpose. When you realign with your destiny, the problem shrinks to its proper size as nothing more than a temporary hurdle on your journey to greatness. Purpose is why you were born. Problems are what you go through. One defines your existence, the other tests it. But when you hold on to your purpose, you will outlast and outgrow every problem that tries to stop you. You are stronger than you think because what is in you is greater than what is against you. Always remember, purpose is always greater than problems. The future is hidden within you, not around you. This single truth shifts the entire way you look at life because so many people spend their days chasing what they believe is out there somewhere. They think if they move to a new place, meet the right people, or stumble upon some opportunity, then their life will finally have meaning. But destiny was never designed to be discovered outside of you. It was designed to be unlocked from within. Your future is not something you find, it is something you release. Everything you need to become who you are meant to be has already been placed inside of you by God. The gifts, the ideas, the dreams, the vision, the creativity, the strength, and even the solutions to problems are not external resources. You carry them within. This is why searching for validation from people will always leave you disappointed. People can encourage you, they can inspire you, but they cannot give you your future. That belongs to you alone. The danger of believing that your future is outside of you is that you give control of your destiny to circumstances and people. You begin to think that your success depends on who notices you, who supports you, or who opens doors for you. And when those things do not happen, You feel stuck and hopeless. But when you realize the future is already inside of you, you stop waiting for external permission to begin. You start to work with what you already have. You take the small ideas, the small gifts, the small resources within you, and you develop them into something greater. Every invention we see today was once invisible, hidden within someone. The airplane was once an unseen idea inside the Wright brothers. The light bulb was once only a concept inside Thomas Edison. Nations have been transformed because individuals tapped into what was hidden inside them. They did not wait for the world to hand them a future. They unlocked it themselves. The same is true for you. The future you are hoping for is already alive in your spirit, in your mind, in your potential. You are pregnant with possibility. And just like a child in the womb, what is within you is unseen for a season, but it is real and waiting for the right time to manifest. Too many people look around and see only what is missing in their lives, but they fail to look within and see what is present. You might say, I don't have money, I don't have support, I don't have opportunities. But the truth is you already have the seed of your future inside of you. Seeds don't look like trees, but they contain everything necessary to become one. Your dreams may look small now, but they contain your future in them. What matters is not what you see around you, but what you cultivate within. When you believe that your future is hidden inside you, you stop being a victim of your surroundings. Your environment may be limited, but your potential is unlimited. Your circumstances may be temporary, but your destiny is eternal. People may overlook you, but what is in you cannot be denied forever. That is why it is so important to nurture what is within. Read, study, learn, practice, grow, because every step you take in developing yourself is a step closer to releasing your hidden future. Look at the story of Moses. As a baby, he looked helpless, placed in a basket on a river. But hidden inside that child was the deliverer of a nation. The Israelites could not see it. Pharaoh could not see it. Even Moses himself did not fully see it. But God had already placed his future within him. When the time was right, it came forth. The same applies to you. You may feel small now, you may feel hidden now, but inside you there is greatness waiting for the right season to be revealed. The danger is when people ignore what is inside them and spend their lives chasing what is around them. They think the future is in someone else's hands, so they wait. They think the future is in luck, so they gamble. They think the future is in chance, so they drift. But drifting never unlocks destiny. It is focus, self-discovery, and intentional growth that release the hidden future within you. The key is to align your daily choices with the future that is inside. If you want to be a leader, you must start practicing leadership even in small ways. If you want to be a creator, you must create with what little you have. If you want to be a person of influence, you must start influencing with the few people around you. Do not despise small beginnings, because every beginning carries the seed of a greater tomorrow. So I urge you today to stop looking only at what is around you and start looking at what is inside of you. Do not be discouraged if people do not yet recognize your potential. Do not give up if your environment does not yet reflect your vision. The future is not waiting for you in some distant place. It is waiting to be revealed through you. Everything you need to rise, to grow, to achieve is already there. Believe it, nurture it, and release it, because the future is hidden within you, not around you. Vision gives you power to rise above limitations. Without vision, people settle, they conform, and they allow life to dictate who they become. But when you catch a vision of a greater future, when you see in your spirit something beyond your current reality, you gain the strength to endure, to fight, and to overcome. Vision is more than just a picture of what you want. It is a revelation of what is possible, a blueprint of what already exists inside you, waiting to manifest. Vision gives you a reason to rise every morning and to keep moving when everything around you says stop. Limitations are everywhere. They come in the form of financial struggles, lack of education, broken relationships, discouragement, or even the voices of people telling you what you cannot do. If you focus only on those limitations, you will never rise. But vision has the power to lift your eyes beyond obstacles. Vision says, yes, I see the mountain, but I also see the summit. Vision says, yes, the storm is raging, but I also see the calm on the other side. Vision does not deny the existence of limitations. It refuses to allow them to define the final outcome. Think about Helen Keller, a woman who was both blind and deaf. By natural standards, her limitations were overwhelming. Yet she once said, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. Despite her physical limitations, she lived with vision, and that vision carried her to impact millions of lives around the world. Her life proves that the absence of sight does not mean the absence of vision. And it also proves that vision is more powerful than any limitation placed on you. Vision gives direction. Without it, you wander aimlessly, reacting to problems instead of creating solutions. When you have a vision, you stop wasting energy on what does not matter and channel all of yourself toward what does. Vision focuses your strength. It clarifies your priorities. It tells you which battles are worth fighting and which ones to ignore. Many people remain stuck in life because they are fighting the wrong battles, consumed with small distractions because they lack vision. But when vision grips you, you rise above those things that once held you down. Limitations often appear bigger than they are because people look at them through the lens of fear. Vision changes that lens. It allows you to see through the eyes of faith and possibility. For example, when Nehemiah saw the broken walls of Jerusalem, others saw destruction, but his vision allowed him to see restoration. He refused to be defined by the limitation of rubble and resistance. Instead, his vision empowered him to organize, to lead, and to rebuild. The wall was restored because one man had vision strong enough to rise above limitation. Vision is also a source of hope. Limitations try to convince you that this is all there is, that you should settle for less. But vision whispers that there is more. Vision fuels perseverance. It gives you something to look forward to, something to hold on to when everything else is falling apart. When you feel like giving up, vision reminds you why you started. It tells you that your struggle is temporary, but your dream is eternal. The most dangerous person in the world is not someone with resources, connections, or power. The most dangerous person is someone with vision, because vision cannot be bought, stopped, or destroyed by external forces. Once it takes root inside you, it pushes you forward no matter what. That is why dictators fear visionaries. That is why systems of oppression try to silence dreamers. Because a person with vision will rise even from the ashes of failure and create something new. Your vision must be clear, though. A blurred vision weakens power. If you are unsure of what you are aiming for, you will hesitate and waste time. This is why you must take time to define your vision. Write it down, visualize it, speak it, and commit to it. Once it is clear, it becomes like fuel in your soul. You may not yet have the resources, but vision makes you resourceful. You may not yet have the opportunities, but vision makes you creative. You may not yet have support, but vision attracts the right people when the time is right. Do not let limitations tell you what is possible. Limitations are facts, but vision creates truth. Facts may say you cannot rise, but vision declares you will. Facts may say there is no way, but vision carves a way where none exists. Vision transforms impossibility into possibility because it does not rely on what you see around you. It draws strength from what you see within. So lift your eyes above the limitations of today. Refuse to be bound by what you lack. Refuse to settle because of where you are. Let vision take you higher. Let it carry you further. Let it empower you to break through every barrier. Because with vision, no limitation is final. Vision gives you power to rise, to endure, to conquer, and to become everything you were created to be. Focus determines direction and destiny. This principle is one of the greatest truths that separate those who rise in life from those who remain stuck. Wherever your focus goes, your energy flows, and eventually your life follows. Focus is like the steering wheel of your existence. It decides the path you take and the destination you arrive at. You cannot expect to live a life of greatness while allowing your mind to be scattered by distractions, negativity, and the noise of the world. A double-minded person, the scripture says, is unstable in all their ways. But a focused person, even if they start small, can achieve extraordinary things because their vision is clear and their steps are intentional. The challenge of life is not the absence of opportunity, but the presence of distraction. Distraction is the enemy of focus, and focus is the fuel of destiny. Many people never reach their full potential, not because they lack talent, but because they fail to concentrate on what truly matters. They spend their time chasing everything and end up achieving nothing. They allow every opinion, every trend, every temporary desire to pull them in a different direction until they lose sight of where they were going. But destiny is not achieved accidentally. It is the result of consistent, disciplined focus over time. Focus also has the power to magnify your strength. Imagine sunlight spread across a field. It warms, but it does not burn. But if you take that same sunlight and focus it through a magnifying glass, it becomes powerful enough to set something on fire. The same is true with your life. Your gifts, talents, and energy scattered everywhere may look impressive, but they will not create impact. When you concentrate them in one direction, you unleash fire, passion, and effectiveness that cannot be denied. Greatness is not about doing many things well. It is about doing the right things with relentless focus. Look at athletes who achieve world-class success. Their secret is not just talent, but focus. They train when others are sleeping. They practice when others are distracted. And they devote themselves to one direction until they master it. Their focus becomes their advantage. The same applies in business, in relationships, in ministry, in personal growth. Whatever you focus on, you feed, and whatever you feed grows. If you focus on problems, they get bigger. If you focus on possibilities, they expand. If you focus on your purpose, your life moves in the direction of your destiny. Focus is also about eliminating what does not matter. You cannot say yes to destiny without saying no to distractions. Every dream requires sacrifice, and sacrifice is simply the willingness to give up something lesser for something greater. Many people fail not because they chose the wrong path, but because they refuse to cut off distractions along the way. You cannot focus on your future if you are still tied to your past. You cannot focus on growth if you are obsessed with comfort. You cannot focus on progress if you are consumed by what others think. Focus requires discipline. It requires the courage to filter your life and remove what does not align with your vision. One of the reasons focus determines destiny is because your mind shapes your reality. What you constantly think about, you eventually become. If you focus on failure, if you focus on lack, you will live in limitation. But if you focus on opportunity, you will begin to see solutions. If you focus on your goals, your actions will align with them. The mind is powerful, but it must be directed. Left scattered, it will produce confusion. But when directed by focus, it produces clarity and success. Focus also determines resilience. A person without focus quits easily because they have no clear reason to continue. But a focused person, even in pain, even in setbacks, keeps moving because they see the bigger picture. They are not distracted by every obstacle because their eyes are fixed on the prize. This is why runners in a marathon fix their gaze forward. If they keep looking to the side, they lose momentum. Focus keeps you steady, it keeps you moving, and it keeps you from being pulled into battles that are not worth fighting. There will always be noise, critics, and temptations to drag you off course. But you must protect your focus like a treasure. Guard your mind, guard your time, guard your environment. Surround yourself with people who encourage your focus, not those who distract you. Design your habits to serve your focus, not sabotage it. Because in the end, you will not rise to the level of your potential, you will rise to the level of your focus. So I challenge you today, decide what truly matters for your future. Fix your eyes on it, eliminate distractions, discipline your mind, and commit to staying focused no matter how long it takes. Your direction will always follow your focus, and your destiny will always align with your direction. Focus determines direction and destiny, and if you can master your focus, there is nothing in this world that can stop you from becoming who you were created to be. Where you are is temporary, but who you are becoming is eternal. This truth reminds us that the circumstances of today do not define the totality of our lives. You might be in a season of struggle, but seasons always change. You might be facing pain, but pain is a teacher, not a life sentence. The place you find yourself right now is not where you will remain forever. Life is a journey, and every step is shaping the person you are destined to become. Too often people confuse their present state with their permanent identity. They believe that where they are stuck now is where they will always be. But nothing could be further from the truth. You are not defined by where you are. You are defined by who you are becoming. The process of becoming is eternal because it transcends circumstances. Jobs will come and go, relationships may change, money may rise and fall, but the person you are becoming through every experience is what truly lasts. Every hardship builds character, every challenge develops endurance, and every victory strengthens faith. Life is not just about what you have, it is about who you are becoming in the journey. That is why the richest part of your life is not in possessions, but in transformation. You are constantly in the process of growth, and that growth is eternal. Many people get discouraged when they look at where they are right now. They see limitation, lack, and delay. They say to themselves, I will never get out of this situation. This is my life forever. But the truth is that where you are is a passing stage. Just like winter gives way to spring, your current condition will give way to something greater. Even the most difficult situations are temporary. Failure is temporary. Rejection is temporary. Disappointment is temporary. But the lessons you carry, the strength you build, and the wisdom you gain are eternal. Think about a caterpillar. To the natural eye, it seems slow, crawling, and limited. But within it lies the destiny of a butterfly. Its crawling season is temporary, but its becoming is eternal. The struggle in the cocoon may look like confinement, but it is preparation for transformation. If the caterpillar judged its life only by where it was, it would despair. But its true identity is not crawling, it is flying. In the same way, you may be in a crawling season, but within you is the destiny to fly. Where you are now does not define the fullness of who you are. The eternal part of becoming is what connects you to your divine purpose. God is not as concerned about what you have as He is about who you are becoming. This is why sometimes He allows delays, setbacks, and challenges. They are not punishments, they are processes. They refine you, they stretch you, and they prepare you for a future you cannot yet see. The problem with many people is that they try to rush out of temporary seasons without realizing that those seasons are shaping their eternal character. They want quick results, but quick results rarely build lasting strength. Becoming requires patience, endurance, and faith in the unseen. This truth also frees you from being defined by other people's opinions. People may judge you by where you are right now.